My interest in Thomas Merton is because I simply have an interest in people. And anytime I have an autobiography, I read it. And that was what I did with Thomas Merton. I read his Seven-Story Mountain and got involved in that, both academically, teaching it, but also spiritually for myself, involved very much. And with Chakaravarty, I have found his story to be fascinating. And I'm interested in people's stories. And these two stories are wonderful stories about interfaith, intercultural gathering of two individuals who also, at the basis of all things, grounded is love. And readers of Thomas Merton know that his openness to man's spiritual horizons came from a rootedness of faith, and inner security led him to explore, experience, and interpret the affinities and differences between religions, and it's done within the light of their own religion. This description of Amiya Chakaravarty of Merton could also be a very much a description of himself. Here we have two men, both interested, open, expansive individuals, people who are willing to listen to one another. Openness is the first word that's used in this introduction, and the ability to and desire to be open to one another is the first step in interfaith understanding. The relationships are very important for both men. I think both men, if they were asked, would say that the other was one of the most important people in their lives. But for relationships in terms of Chakaravarty, to understand him, you must understand four relationships. And the first relationship is to the great Tagore. And fortunately for Chakaravarty, he was able to be the literary secretary and the traveling companion to Tagore for almost 10 years. And because of that, he learned a great deal of Tagore. He says he was one who taught him, Chakaravarty, that one should understand and appreciate the highest wisdom from your own ancient tradition. And that's what Tagore did with some of his poetry. But also, Chakaravarty says of Tagore that he was the architect of a new age of spiritual internationalism. Later in life, Chakaravarty will become India's representative to the United Nations and advising India in terms of their relationship to this new organization. Chakaravarty was given great honor for his work with UNESCO. Chakaravarty, early in the middle of the 1960s, wrote to Merton. Chakaravarty simply said, you don't know me, but I teach now at Smith College in the United States. And the young women at Smith College would like to have a Thomas Merton evening. And they would like to have the evening in which some of your works would be read and spoken about, and people would be able to discuss the views of Thomas Merton, particularly in terms of social justice issues and peace. And so Thomas Merton wrote back and said, in a kind of humble way, he was pleased to hear this. Chakaravarty at the end said, after the conference, that the young women seemed to have a better grasp of what was going on in the world at that time, in the mid-1960s, than the politicians did, and that the state government officials did. And that pleased Merton, and he got a chuckle out of that, and also agreed that that certainly is probably very true. Chakaravarty was the first one at the airport to meet Merton in Calcutta. Chakaravarty took Merton many places, arranged for him to stay many places, and also introduced him to an artist. Roy had made a panel painting of Christ, and he simply called it Christ. And he would do these different kinds of religious artwork. And so Merton told Chakaravarty that he would have bought this painting because he wanted to take it home with him if he could. But in fact, Merton said, I'm not very good with money, and I'm losing it and spending it here and there, and I have to save enough money to make it home. So Chakaravarty bought the painting. And to show you what true friendship is based upon, this kind of loving, caring, trust, and there's kind of an eternal quality to true friendship. What Chakaravarty did was, when Merton died untimely in 1968, Chakaravarty waited a year or two and was finally able to get to the abbey of women religious in the Redwoods in California. And that's where Merton had wanted to take the painting. And the deep and abiding love of these two interfaith friends came shining through at the sacred moment when this gift was presented to the sisters in the Redwoods. And I'm sure that, to use a Merton phrase, everybody's face was shining like the sun at this moment in the giving of this gift. Friendships last forever, true friendships. And this is a wonderful symbol and sign of that friendship. For almost 26 years, I have benefited from Fons Vita's publications and talk about people and getting to know about people's lives. Fons Vita has allowed for this to happen for me in ways that it never could have otherwise. So thank you very much to Fons Vita, and I wish you well.